Friends with you as before, Puzana Sergey. So they mean we're on another feeder fishing trip. This time the location is new. Completely new to me. And my little tour along the Volga River continues. But unfortunately, the weather didn't allow us to fish today. I don't know if it will be heard now. In short, we arrived at the water in Navaloki. Here is a magic dam. The wind is just a hurricane. This 7 transmits gusts up to 12. I thought that sitting would be unreal, plus shorter transport, but I posted it. Not prepared. I thought that was the problem with this. It's okay to walk here, about 150 meters. Dipper. He flew away and said, "Get out of here, guys. It's uncomfortable here and there are no fish." We walked along the entire dam. That is, there are no local fish here. We'll probably go to Kaneshma judging by this wind. The kids watched. There will be in the back. There is also one area with a good hole, so there will be bream there too. Let's probably try to trick them there. Because of course everything here is sad. They say there will be another competition here this weekend. If it's raining and windy, then straight. It will be pure ice. And accordingly running from the wind, I'll manage to land on the Kineshenko River. This is the city of Kaneshma. This river literally flows into the Volga just behind this bridge. Fortunately, the breeze here was practically blowing into our power section. That's why the conditions are more or less comfortable. There are variations to catch bream. There is hope for this, according to the depth map. It's all a big hole with a depth of about 10 meters. And here is where I am sitting. The exit from the hole is already beginning. That is, well, if the flow goes from right to left, then accordingly, this will be the entrance. If from left to right, then roughly speaking exit. Well, it's right to look at the movement of the current, of course. I'm sitting on this site specifically. What is it? Try to catch fish in different ways. That is, try to fish in the deepest part. Try to catch some small fish. Let's see what bites, because I haven't done any trial fishing here. I didn't look at some reports. I know there is a competition area further on. Where are the local fishermen, sportsmen hold tournaments, training and so on. I didn't go there. Oh well, yesterday I was walking around here again with a spinning rod. I saw some tons, asp and so on. Well, we'll discuss all this with you today while fishing. Let's go faster. Catch me. In terms of measure, the frontiers are quite interesting. The distances are comfortable. From maximum emission, it's just some kind of silt or clay. Aerodrome, which sometimes happens in a mixed way. After that we made a small climb. In such a smooth, slippery shelf. Well, most likely I think clay. Well, maybe ill. Because it felt like it was silt at first, and then it's just kind of slippery, and the main thing is a flat area. There is no depth difference there. That is, we are not sliding towards our shore. Because some people have such mistakes in the measurements, what a person essentially thinks, that it rises up from the depths. And periodically there is a sideways dump. Banks and he thinks that these are slippery. In fact, it's a flat, slippery, awesome section. In fact, it just needs to be checked. Be sure to enter the slippery slope. We throw a marker, we check the depth on the score. We are looking for where the slippery surface ends, we mark again and check the account. Then we will definitely be guaranteed to understand. What is this table? This table is very promising. The point is cool, depth about 8 meters. Probably a bit deep. for the month of June, which is a fish to spit on. Oh, that's why. After all, there is a small plug for this table, after which you waddle with pebbles, and found another similar plot of cognac. It's a distance. 21 meters is 21 meters and further respectively. And far respectively about 36 meters. The depth difference is decent, from the near to the far point. That is, it is such a good cool dump. So I will also consider the near one. Let's see where this local fish lives here. And what kind of fish is this? The probe is actually the simplest. To the right strongly if I throw. Then the depth there is already about 5 meters. If I throw too far to the left, I throw at the far line. There the depth is already about 9 meters. That is, this is the entrance that I talked about at the very beginning. That is, there is an entrance on the right, and so we gradually go deeper. That is, I essentially have such a 3D landscape, which accordingly table 5 descends there. Probably even goes down to 4 like this neatly 7, 8, 9, and that's where it goes at 10. That is, I have such a descent, and accordingly, from that depth I also rise here. Do you understand? Yes, that such a 3D will be kind of mixed up. That's why the structure is interesting. I think the point should be promising, and it's time to feed. That the point is fed, and it is fed with the following composition. Since I have no information about the reservoir, there is not. What are the current compositions here? And so on. I accordingly, to your taste and color, after measurement, in the Orient, all fish that I want to catch, I mixed the classic 2 black bream, probably the best-selling baiting option, probably one of the most versatile. Of course, a pond. Sometimes it still gets pressed. I don't think there are that many tournaments here. That's why. Anise is a must. For such more precisely Y-half, absolutely wild reservoir. That is, it is not like the Moscow River, which is conditionally sanded there. There is a plot of land of the Bratjevs on both sides, and the fish there already know all this bait and the doses. Here I thought the classic standard is all sorts of corn, aromas and bottom, that's all. That's why I definitely added 1 pack of anise. It turns out to be such an interesting mix. The bait smells nut. It also smells of anise. The next package that I added, at your own discretion, this turbo bream, because from the first casts, when the marker touched the water, the cord was pulled out in a very interesting way. It wasn't just the wind. It seems to me that there is water movement here. It's not very strong, of course. There is some kind of powerful, scary river current and so on. There is probably water movement. Grams maybe around 30, 20, something like that. That's why is the heavy composition of turbo bream. Fine fraction, let the non-dusty one remain at the bottom. Everything else the compositions include accordingly some lifting particles, which will attract all fish in general. Well, and then in the process we'll see humidification system, and so what kind of fish will start to respond. We'll start preparing for it, because it's hard to talk about it yet. But at the first time, I think I've gone to the wrong place again. The first 20 minutes I was just at the far point. There are small fish. There are just 50 bream there. Maximum 70 small, just a bream. Cloves violet, the nozzle is terrorized. And there was hope for the bream and for such rich food. What are they doing there on 8 meters? I don't understand. Now I'll just go for the classic bream serve. It will just be a fluffy mixed motel. I'll trim the bloodworm. The shortest possible leash. I'll put it right at 50 centimeters. And I'll try to club him. But for now, the review is kind of strange. 20 minutes is certainly not a long time, but by sporting standards it is. Good time, for which the fish would have definitely already shown itself. But you can see it by the size of the fish. I think she's just not here. Another drin. I juggle with hooks of appropriate length for now. Well, in the presentation, I want to understand what this is. Well, what an airfield. A short distance awaits me too. I'll try it, but it's probably closer to 2 o'clock. Because there is time, I'll do some magic for now. So the first hour is like, well, a pessimist, ha. At 2 o'clock anyway, I decided not to catch this small fish from afar. Fed a neighbor. But I fed my neighbor. On topics such that there are 0 maggots there at once. I'll try to check here for bream. If he is not here either, it seems to me the meaning of today's fishing will be clear. In Kanishma, as it were, there are fish, there are breams. Of course, they are not super or some kind of trophy expensive ones. But there are 500, 600 is quite an adequate bream here. Well, that's kind of it. According to local, I judge by the catch. Maybe today is some kind of magical day. Or June spit on the fish, and maybe that's the point. By distances, as if. I'm jumping for now, but there's an immediate reaction when I'm close. Small fish from 3 or 4 feeders are simply hum. This bream again. The truth is that the bream shoots through like a law 100. Extremely rare, probably another 150 happens. Bites pretty quickly. Next to the melted. She doesn't care about the living at all. The main thing is, of course, in such fishing for small fish, this is of course a realization, so the magic of hooks, but for now, works very well. Silver on hook size 16, as always on this small fish, and everything is being implemented well. Ah, very good fight, such hard blows. Very well implemented. When I just dress up a maggot, I just pierce it in the middle. If it doesn't help directly, then I put on stockings. Stocking as always, 100% conversion, but the fish also doesn't react it very actively. Because the small fish like it. The nozzle that moves, that is there. Active and so on. She seems to grab it more actively. But you hang the fuel in hopes that they won't touch him. In the hope that someone bigger will take something from the bottom. Nothing magical happens. Bloodworms. Already during the fall. Oh, I think they are just killing themselves. They don't reach the bottom, although probably in a few minutes. 15 after Doforma, I caught this small fish. Small fish on the tempo is generally some kind of cool. Became 20 seconds, and at some point just, without any lull, without any pause. A bream hangs, probably 400 grams. Normal then. I think I'll be finishing this line right now. Because after the bream, it would seem. The guys need to get rid of everything. No, please. Booster pecking and underbite. It's strange that it seems like a schooling fish. Why was he one and where did he go next? What he doesn't like, the meadow there is laid out very cool. Living component, and there are plenty of riddles for now. So far, riddles. But we are looking for clues. I think we'll figure out where we'll go. But for now, for the future, what's the point of carrying it with 36 meters when there are 21? Oh! Someone is resisting more seriously. Yes, the closer one is still more interesting. Periodically good roach are shot. This one is probably somewhere around 300 grams. Well, here's another one. That's probably 150 to 200 grams. I think we can figure it out. Poke around. With feed. Well, and try to catch at least this size. And somehow from this small bream, as they say, omnipresent, and I would also add everywhere with let's try to get rid of it somehow. If it doesn't work out, we'll have fun. From what is there, but nevertheless, we change the feeds constantly. We change leashes, hooks. Empty feeders will eventually fly too. If she throws herself so actively, maybe this food is too much for her. Let's try to kill him in jelly now, so there are no such technical. There are quite a lot of nuances. We will try to figure it out. As in one famous meme. But everything should have been done earlier. That time is gradually decreasing. The end of fishing is very close. I still choose tactics. I will be at close range, catch all fish without exception. I'll try to set the small and large ones to tempo. Understand the presentation thoroughly, because it leans sharply. Livens up the point well. I even caught a couple of such chubs, probably 300 grams. 400. Another one small bream, 200 grams. And it's still a small white bream. Let's try to conjure with the roach. We will not wait and hope any longer. No bream. All these butterfly feeds and all the fantasies there. We reject short leashes. Let's start simply. Work according to plan on the fish that is available. We will try to implement it well. We'll try to keep it on point all the time. Let's work on this. Maybe we can somehow make it bigger. Because after 2 hours. But nothing interesting happens. There are just small fish standing steadily. No one moves it from its point. Periodically, shooting some more or less large fish. There are 300 roach there, 350 and so on. But after that there is no series. There are no roaches left. It's like she's just running around here. Some kind of wild one. I don't know. I ran in from the Volga and swam. I looked in the wrong place and went in the wrong place. And the Volga is probably already going back along that bank. That is, as if straight. I haven't been able to put roach specifically yet. Or it's just an overabundance of small fish. What? She doesn't care what depth it is. So we will try to accelerate. And I think the catch should be normal. This is most likely just another chub. The feeder is only loaded under the meadow bay. Such a facelift. What goodbye leash. No, everything is in place. through it myself. Well, what did ours take? Can we already draw some conclusions? For this hour, -1.5, the parsing procedure is simple. Went to the max, cuttings of dough, the fish is standing, then it just starts to seem like he's overeating. Empty feeders help a lot. After such a series passes, the fish are of different sizes again, there is absolutely no specific logic at all. Booster is specifically worth it. I don't know if there's roach in the bycatch. In bycatch, I also caught 2 chubs. Some small perches are being shot. But there is no systemic one type of fish like that here. Because the Volga is not far away, of course these fish are remixed. Very cool. The pace is just starting to slow down. It seems like he came. Got distracted a couple of times, checked with large nozzles, there's a bunch of bloodworms there. Short leash, no way. Everything is the same, we're stepping on the gas to the max, we keep up the pace constantly, it just suddenly stops working. Ah, that's the feeling. What's there? Small fish begin to satiate or become distracted. Unclear, clean food. Empty feeders left. The dot comes to life again, just starts to fall silent again. Cleanly chopped bloodworm, just 5 feeders and the fish start to accelerate again. That is a constant challenge. We are constantly changing something. This is enough for 15. 20 minutes next substitution, 15. 20 minutes next change. The hooks have the same system. The fish is very good and cool. Hit the mark. Ah, and Silverovich in size 14 is a fairly large hook. I sold fish from start to finish. There is no such happiness now. There are no more 3-2 maggots there. All fish for 1 jar. Here's another roach after a series of white bream. I don't understand how they swim together there. Roach is also a schooling fish. I have to get them out of there somehow. Ask politely. After the hook, there, conditionally, in size 12. The fin went on the hook. From Flagman Albarello. The hook worked out great. Everything is super. The implementation is a fairy tale. 1 maggot in the middle. Everything is great. We're having a blast. The leash is still 80 centimeters. Because 20 meters of practically unnoticeable bite. The maggot is simply killed into flour. Ah, I didn't see the point of such a long leash either. So 80 is optimal. At 60 there was also a bite, probably in the first hour, but it's still better to disperse small fish with some kind of extended leash. That's why 8 is the most. Cool format, I can see almost everything on it. Albarello worked for almost 40, somewhere around 30 minutes. Just awesome, without any problems. Then some nuances started again. Problems in implementation. That is, the fish completely exhausts the bait. I see everything, but I can't implement it. I see a bite, I can't lick the bend. The hook is dull. I put a new hook again and nothing. Now I just switched to the hook. Silverovich in size 18. That is, reduced it. Most likely it's just this mini guster. Who tries to put it in her mouth? And already capricious. Having eaten a live component, she simply picks it up. Something got stuck, something doesn't fit in my mouth. She just throws it away. Because big roach bites in a completely different way. All this can be realized on any hook. I won't even mention the chubs. It just falls and the stick flies up. Sometimes he even didn't let the feeders fall. It just falls in a tier straight do. The stick has already gone all the way. The feeder didn't have time to fall. These are most likely small bream. They are engaged in such provocation. I'm twitching because of this. I keep up the pace all the time. Thanks to them for that anyway. Well, I've crossed over right now on a small hook. The maggot is already dressed according to the classics by the thin part. And again, the implementation has become 100% damn. That is, the fish is already on. Bam, there it is again, such a bend. That is, the fish is most likely already full. This little one is starting to be a little mischievous. But in theory, if she is full, come on, get out of here already. Someone fatter, there's nothing to call there. Great again. Well, this is kind of a size. Yes, already average because you could even say big. Because before that they were pecking, of course. Well, that's it, and now this feed. It might end with the bloodworm. I don't know, in 5 to 10 minutes. This nozzle option. Maggots here by the thin part. By the nose or whatever it's called, by the butt. And just like that with the mixed bloodworms, it may also end. Tried corn. Cutting is not good. There is nothing bad about her. The fish does not grow larger. Nothing happens but in the feed. Some experiments need to be carried out. This is good for attracting fish. It's visible, because for some strange reason she goes silent. But please already in the address. Someone is already pulling. Well, right now on the 18th hook, Silverovich is just working, like a clock. That is, any touch the next one is already a bend. Pulls on itself really hard, specifically, confidently. This is how fishing turns out, but as they say, all fishing is good. The main thing is to visit them and go fishing. Well, anyway, a huge thank you to this river that it even gave me time to work my brain to tempo well. Because in the near future, namely, tomorrow morning I'm leaving for Moscow, literally for one evening, reboot the machine. New things, with bait and already in a day. More precisely, I'm leaving tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow in the morning, I will already be in the city of Dubna for training. Prepare for competition, which will take place right this coming weekend. So 7 days of my tour. In 7 days of fishing, do not stop. I still have a lot ahead of me. 3 cool. I love my job. 10 days fishing, haha. Well, that's the result of today's fishing. Kinashimka River. My small fish was still pleased. Per kilogram probably 8 here. There are some little things. Well, here's the medium-sized white bream that I was talking about. This is just a matchbox. And here they are, handsome men. These are the chubs that I was after yesterday. Ran with a spinning rod. We also had a good bite today. Somewhere here is a bream, one that pleased. And that's where the fishing ended. More precisely, beating children, it can't go on forever. So I decided to finish EH. For some 4 hours so travel around the country. Look for cool locations, you hunt. Different fish, as I used to call her, which I advise you to do too, and you still subscribe to the channel. You put chamomile. Write comments if I forgot to tell you something. And see you on new fishing trips. Bye everyone.